Hello everyone, my name is Yota Jazz, and today we are going to do a pick a pile about what fear is holding you back. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I've obviously been MI fucking A from fucking everywhere. Um, and I wasn't really actually even planning on this. I've been doing my things, and I just got pushed by God to do a reading like that. So, let's just do it. Let's just do it. I feel like his energy is going to be present. Whoever you connect to or believe to be a ultimate creator of all, that's who I will be referring to as God. If you believe otherwise, which is, it's source or it's the universe or whatever, that's your thing. I'm not here to discourage that or debate that, but in terms of like how it's coming across, it's like whoever you'd believe to be an ultimate creator might be helping out with figuring out some fears, figuring out some weird stuff, and some energies. So yeah, obviously I did not prepare shit. um, we're gonna probably do the universe has your back Oracle decks, um, cards for the actual like piles, not tarot this time, and I will be like shuffling on camera for the piles and then like, having them face up so you can choose. 'Cause yeah, why not? It's really interesting how like this is off the note, this is just a ramble note. It's really funny to me how I've read that people have had like different experiences picking piles, and some people really appreciate having the variety of crystals and sounds and some other stuff and whatever. And I think I'll like maybe look into some of it in the future. I don't think necessarily maybe crystals. Maybe I'll get called to that again. My collection is limited, so there's no point in fucking doing it now. It'd just be the same over and over again, and I feel like that wouldn't be aligned with the messages and the piles and everything. But yeah, I've been kind of like understanding also the point of like it's hard to pick out, if you're not really tapped in or whatever, which pile is for you just from the point of like a few covered cards like this. For me personally, I love not knowing what card am I picking, right? Like it is my intuition always told me from the beginning of me even getting into tarot, when I wasn't like too woo-woo, of like, oh, that's my pile, that's my pile. That's how I really got surprised, was like I don't know what the fuck these cards are. I'm not really like I'm so new and fresh to all of this, and I'm now opening up to it, that it's kind of fascinating to me that every pile I choose, right, has a connection of some sort. So, maybe you'll get there at some point if you're just like working up to it right now. If not, then not, and that's completely fine and cool. But yeah, this pickup pile is going to be for people to kind of just face a fear to or with, and it's gonna be, if you're in this video or at this video, it's somehow relating to your journey personally, and that can be anything, right? Maybe you're getting into hermit mode, you're about to do shadow work, maybe you're coming out of shadow work, maybe you're going to be living as you're living, but it's important to realize this fear so your attitude changes towards your life, because our fear changes us so much and so freaking badly. It can keep us away from who we truly are, or living the life that we really need to and want to, or the life that is most aligned to our actual core of soul. And healing and fear, it doesn't just stay at the ego. I feel like the spiritual community has so much bullshit about just nonsense. They're like, oh, your soul knows everything and it's not afraid, and it's just like it knows the direction always, and blah blah blah. And like, yeah, your soul is aware of what its core is and its fears are, but it also is going through the process of alchemizing, right? And going towards its own soul evolution through the experience of being down here on Earth. So sometimes there can be an experience of like being more either confused or afraid or whatever, because of either past life energy and past life trauma, or because as a soul is born and goes through their experience, right? it goes through the same experience as we go as through as being human. Like it's not really all that different if you stretch it out to infinity and eternity and all the other little nooks and crannies and just multitudes of what being conscious or alive or a soul and consciousness is, right? It's like it's not as simple as like, oh, whatever. Like life is kind of the way it is because the soul is going through something and it isn't as clear cut as spirituality puts it together. So obviously, if you do not want to be slightly maybe either triggered or have something uncomfortable surface, that you would need to like look at and reflect on, or you don't want any help on your shadow work or other stuff that's currently happening, I would recommend clicking off of this video because this isn't going to be a very comfortable video. It is going to be a healthy experience that takes you through to owning up to your fear and accepting it for what it is and making decisions forward going from it, whether you want to like release it and let it go or whether you want to live more consciously with it and maybe gain an awareness that's going to help you like manage and cope with it, right? But if you're not prepared to face your fear, I really recommend not watching this video because also if we have the creator up in here, it might get some fucking shit. Like it's gonna be a little bit woo woo. So yeah, I'm gonna actually put the cards covered first. So for anyone that's like me, you can. No, we're only doing 4 piles today and no top and bottom. Okay, so if anyone's like me, you can do the same thing and choose your piles right now. And if you're not, that's fine too, because we're gonna flip them over one by one. So if you've already chosen your pile and you don't want to see what the fuck the card is, then like go to the timestamps now. But otherwise, this is gonna be pile now 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. So just in case you can't read, which I believe you can't read what's written on the cards, the first card is The Universe Has Your Back, has an owl by a pink moon. Reversed. My capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I am lost. Yeah, there's some wordsy cards in here, but I really do love them because when you read them, you can feel how they clear and cleanse energy. They're like very healthy mantras, and I think you could say that this is like a good way to tune into prayer as well. If you're like awkward about it or you think that it's just like a churchy thing, like no, prayer is basically how you pray. So, and I think these cards kind of cover like a nice way of doing it. Um, my faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. And we have the last one also reversed. I am apologetic. Oh, I am unapologetic about what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow. So that's a weird slip, I think. I think we can already guess where that pile is gonna go. And I'll speak to it when I start it. But yeah, see you in whichever pile you pick. Hello, pile number 1. So we have the universe has your back. It is reversed. So instantly what I'm getting with this card, and it's mostly coming from, I mean, as the vibe behind the card in this current pile, it comes across in many different ways, as most Oracle cards do. But here, the thing that's really screaming to me is like, having had so many difficult moments in life, right, that darkness can pile up. And so, regardless if you're a person that goes through magic or that has a lot of confidence and talent or other things, right, it can kind of chip away at that. Or it can just change you as a person. Doesn't matter what it is, right? There's just evidence in general and science, but also for photos of before and after of how people in prolonged states of stress, trauma, and either confusion or conflict or otherwise literally change and look older, get wrinkles, or their eyes are kind of like you can see that they've always been unaware, right? They're kind of like bigger or bulged, or their eye contact is so critical and strict. It's kind of like even if they're supposedly in a relaxed environment or themselves kind of relaxed, there is a underlying um, it's kind of like a muscle has developed where there's an expectancy to always be overviewing things. I think there is a word for it, but I can't remember what it is. It's especially told to people that have been through trauma in childhood and have had this like acute awareness constantly. Like they never really relaxed. They always heard every creak, everything that was happening in the household, just like to pre-prepare for it and stuff like that. So this is what it's giving me, like that hyper attentiveness of always being on the lookout, being a person that's quite wise and strong, but you went through so much that it's kind of like broken you down. And there is a questioning of like if things are going to work out, if things are going to be okay or good. With this owl and the freaking moon, though, I feel like some of you guys might be kept away from people and kept in a really isolated solitude type of like place because you are now being pushed and forced to find a way to kind of like flip this up. Like, how can you understand and know that either the things you've been through are over, and so now you're coming out of the darkness and finding your own wisdom and understanding and heart, right? That you can still like be yourself and you don't need to be in high levels of either like stress or fear or anger or constantly ready to fight stuff back and stand your ground. That like whatever you've already developed as muscles, you can have the talents that has like have come from that, but you don't need to carry the worrisome pain of it, right? You don't need to like be in a constant state of stressful awareness, basically. Um, because it built up some skills and some muscles, and although that doesn't justify what you've been through and what has happened, it's kind of like if there was danger, you'd automatically respond to it anyway. It'd be a muscle memory type of thing, and you could do it in a completely like dozed out, sleep deprived, whatever, like a way that is you being just relaxed and you're not even paying attention to any of that. You're not doing that. You're not living that life, right? You're having absolute complete fun and you're actually feeling like you're, doing it day in and day out. And eventually maybe you start like shifting and changing. Maybe you start noticing that your body feels different. Maybe your eyes and your face looks different. But the point of you being able to protect yourself and make the best out of any stressful or bad situation is now like a skill and a talent that you've gained that you don't need to focus on because I feel like you've also come out of a very toxic relationship slash environment. Maybe you've quit a job or something. Army is kind of coming through though, like as well, not just because of the example I was thinking about, but something about Army is coming through here. So yeah, maybe you got medical leave, maybe something else happened, right? It's time for you to look to your values and core self in terms of like emotions, like what do you want to feel, the mental ideas and values that you have that aren't just defensive or aggressive or just harmful, right? What is it that you can come back home to yourself with? Not because you're not out in war. And obviously, like I'm using this analogy now on a broader sense, not just for people that would be in this pile potentially connected to the military or army or whatever. I'm talking about the state of extreme stress to the point of you would say like this was my war in my life. This is my internal like quarrel and whatever. Because it can really feel that this group of people is being you are being taken out of the difficulty, but it's a inside job of like really getting out of that expectation and that fear and that lingering like PTSD almost experience and doing what you can about it. Um, if you feel that it's right but you're afraid to do it, go ahead and still try. And if it doesn't work for you or you feel that it isn't like right or something else, then sure, then that's also like your sign to like keep trying, keep going, keep experimenting and looking out for other things that could help you and heal you instead of just staying stuck and saying like it is what it is, it's normal, or this is what it is, or it'll always be like this. Like there are many other things that you could start doing to try and help yourself because I feel like this like you're in a corner. You're being forced to do this because otherwise some other things are going to fall out of alignment for you. So let's say um, you could just like get into some type of therapy. You might need to actually figure out what type of therapy you'll like, right? Or maybe you'll need to try out a bunch of different psychologists and stuff. And you won't get anywhere with the first five, but the sixth one is going to be perfect for you. Or eventually, like you're trying, and the you trying helps your friend or partner be like, hey, like I found a really good option for you, or like I found a couples counselor. Do you want to go try that out with us, like with me? And maybe, they'll be the good fit, and they turn out to be the fit that you were expecting, uh, in terms of feeling, right? The one that you could actually like feel safe with and open up. And they say like, oh, I do single person counseling too, if you want to, not just do the couples one. And it's okay, like I've properly like practiced this. I have several teachings or licenses or whatever. So this is one example, but it could be absolutely anything for you. It could be going out and working out, could be changing up your diet. Maybe there's one thing that you're eating and it's really upsetting your stomach, which is causing anxiety. Because if your stomach is not happy, it literally fires off neurons of worry, fear, stress, and just in general, like not just lethargy, but literally being like in a mode of panic. So it could be anything, but go seek out that help. Go make those changes because it's really an inside job from here on out. You are going to be safe or you're going to be moved out into a place that's safe. But before that can happen, you need to change your mind and perspective and expectations and treat yourself the way you want to be treated instead of backlashing yourself or putting yourself down to be like whatever it is, right? Because you deserve more and it is out there for you. But what are you going to do about it? Because it is in your hands. Like, no one can really do anything for you unless you do this first, right? Type of energy is coming across. And I know that's not quite nice to hear. Um, Even if you try and it doesn't work out, like that still then creates the opening to have someone come in and take you out of this situation. Does that make sense? If that's going to be the way that it plays out, which I don't want to necessarily speak to, because then it might feed into the whole point of like, oh, I need someone to save me, and it's like, nah, nah, nah. Even if someone like finds you in the right moment in time, right? That's because you were already working into that energy yourself somehow. It wasn't just them popping up and being a miracle that just showed up in your life. Like you were open to the idea that like it can happen any day, whatever, And when you were least expecting it, maybe on a real shit like moment, you actually did get that help that usually you didn't. Usually it would miss you. So top and bottom. Yeah, this pile is the pile of like things not working out, people running away with your ideas. If you're setting up investments, business plans, projects, whatever other things, it's like they are tampering with it or getting the profits and leaving you out, high and dry, and it's just not necessarily working the way that you would like. It also, I feel like, created a lot of distress with people, and like you can't really have someone take care of you, which is fair enough. There's also there's also something about like not receiving even the bare minimum that you could from people. Like other people received this, but why did I not receive this? Like an example that's coming across is other people, when they get sick, they have a family member looking after them, for example, right? You never actually got that. Maybe it was, financial support from family or friends, or a partner as well as coming through. Maybe it's not having an easy go when you're moving, or you just join like someone in their home or whatever, and they could like give you an easy pass of like, hey, you don't need to pay rent for the first like 3 4 months because it's just their house, right? Like it's just utilities, or something or more, and they still are like, nah, like they're making it unfair on you and pushing it onto you. It's like one-sided practical agreements and events and whatever it is, money, um, house, health, items, stuff like that. Yeah, made you very much mistrust things. So let's see all of these. Oh my lords. Fuck. Okay, so the way I'm reading these cards is we're giving you an opportunity, and the weir is like your spirit team slash whoever, in terms of higher realms you believe in, like higher realms, unconditional love, like, that type of energy. Because higher realms can be some other stuff, and I'm talking about just like good, good, good energy that wants prosperity and development and growth for everyone in terms of soul. Um, yeah, it's like all of and is fair in that respect as well. I felt like that was really important to say. At first, I didn't want to say it, but it was really important to say. And who is fair in that respect doesn't just play some games up there in the higher realms, but is fair in that respect. Anyway, don't know why that was important, but moving on. It's like they are giving you an opportunity. I don't feel like it is about to come or anything. If it's shown up and you ignored it, it'll be a lot more apparent again. If it's happening now, that now obviously is like plus minus some time, because now to them is now, and to us it could be like 3 days plus minus, right? Sometimes even more. But this does feel more like now, like as into us, like I guess this week or something. Um, and yet again, plus minus. But it's like they're gonna give you an opportunity to actually look at all of these things and accept them and move forward with being like, this was my life, this was my story, and now I'm actually letting it go. I'm actually leaving it. I'm taking that step through that doorway, and I'm taking this new journey that's scary to me, because being happy, healing, and living a new life after you've been through a lot of stuff isn't actually easy. It is something that sounds great, but it actually is a whole freaking process. It's still worth it, though. It's way more worth it to go out on a limb and do something that is important to you, that will make you happy, than to ignore that opportunity and possibility forever and never get there, right? Like, it is gonna take however much time it's going to take. Flocks of birds might be important to you, but that's a side note. And if this is a journey you want the results of, or this is the destination you want to go towards, right? Just take the opportunity and the step to go there, because like it is gonna happen and it's worth it, and you're gonna feel better and better each and every like day, week, month, year, right? Whatever the time frame is for you. And it's like in that day, week, month, year, you can have the same trajectory, which is gonna have the same results, right? But if in that one day, week, month, year you change right now the trajectory of, right, you can end up in somewhere where you've always wanted to be and you never really thought was a possibility. But it is important to start right now because previously I can see that obviously when you wanted to do something and you were really going for your dreams, you got sucker punched about it. I feel like people would emotionally just like instantly mock you, gaslight you, and put you down. Like that is an unrealistic perspective, and you might as well like I don't know, get your head out of your ass and grow up and own up and do something that really matters or is fucking tangible in this world, not this, I don't know, hippy dippy shit or some artistic ideas or, forget about your dreams, they never come true anyway. How many of us have heard that, like, from many people that were trying to actually genuinely help us, but they were speaking from their own fear, right? And I doubt that you want to be that person being through what you've been, seeing what you've seen, like, and having what you've had. I don't know if you want to be the same person that you've basically experienced throughout your life. Like, you don't necessarily deserve it. Yeah, and those conversations made you blind to the point that dreams can come true. Like you can follow this thread of your own life and your own string and rope that's leading you on these passions that, go up and maybe wave down and go up and wave down, but they are leading you towards somewhere. Life is all about ups and downs. It's just the ups and downs that you want to actually fucking take, right? Like there's no avoiding life. So, look at what you took instead of what you wanted to take, I guess is what's coming through. Know that it's okay for you to feel this stuff out and you won't become a angry, narcissistic, harmful person just because you look at your fear or pain or hardships, right? That it's you facing the things that are stuck at like a rock and holding you back somewhere, right? You looking at it is like giving it water to erode and dislodge it and let it just flow down the river and be fucking passed along. And that you don't like a kidney stone, I heard, but no, I've never had one. I know it's one of the most painful fucking things ever. So I'm sorry if that's the level of pain that you are at. Um, but you can shift the tides and be your own testament and evident person that like realize the shitty dichotomy between like choosing your dreams and just living that life for what it is and then getting put down and bamboozled by someone being like no, it's not real, like go get a real job, go do something that matters. All of us were engineers, fuck you with your like painting ideas, right? Like no, don't give in, it's never too late, it's never too late. So I hope this has helped you. I'm sending you lots of love and blessings. And yeah, thank you for being a part of this reading. Thank you for all of your support. And if you want to see more of me, there's also a link tree down below. And check out the channel for like weird boo boo stuff if you like this. Hello, pile number two. I hope you're doing well. So yeah, you picked the card that has like a circle of leaves, leaves. Honestly, sometimes like plural and singular words sound exactly the fucking same. I mean, I know it depends off of the accent and other things and whatever and your proper and improper pronunciation, but yeah, anyway, my capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I am ready to speak up, and the compassion I need when it is time to forgive, and the power I need when I am lost. So, I feel like you guys are coming full circle, and literally my candle just went out and started fuming up and, you know, going away. So I'm guessing like you guys are coming full circle. You're figuring out a lot of like the ideas that you had in your head slash heart that were right, and the feelings and ideas that were not even your own. They were told to you to be right, but they weren't. And you're just like literally, I don't want to say like it's Charlie, from Philadelphia when he's in front of that like conspiracy theory board, or at least like now it's a conspiracy theory like meme, right? But make him a lot less jacked up on coffee, cigarettes, and just sleepless nights. Like make him a lot more grounded, normal, and make that meme about like you connecting the dots in your life, and that's how it's coming across. Like you're in a very zen, grounded perspective, even if you don't feel that way, you because some stuff might be working out of your body or energy body, or there might be some people and energies just trying to pick your brain or energy about some shit. Especially if it's in your home and you have some people like you're moving away or moving out, or you just can't stand some of the people you're living in the same household with. It's like regardless of those experiences, right? Like I feel like you will learn how to manage your energy and tackle that so that doesn't affect you as much. But besides that, you are literally seeing through your own life. You are connecting the dots and you are seeing the truth behind all of it. What is the fear here then? I feel like the fear is actually not even your own. I think that fear is coming from other people. I think it's just like trying to grasp at the things that were making you afraid or where that fear was, right? And it's kind of like trying to open up old wounds, but it's like you are keeping perspective really well. I think this pile is maybe not as woo-woo in some ways, or you guys just don't practice certain things. Like you don't practice prayer, you don't practice empathy, like cleansing, which would be like if you have a shower, you actually say that the shower is healing, clearing, and rejuvenating, and it's like letting go all of the, you know, denser, nastier, gooey, or heavy energy that you've picked up throughout the day from other people or whatever, or giving back people's energy, or even mentally being like, I don't accept this person's energy in my life because people are around us even if we're not around them. I know that sounds fucking crazy, but we are all connected. And astrally, anyone can be hanging out around you because they're your friend, or because you let them, or because you have pity for them, or because you just fucking love them, right? Or you love hating them, right? It could be just one of those friends that you have like friction and other stuff with, and it's kind of like you could ask them out when they're not around, but kind of like maybe feeds you or is a bit fun or some other things. It's really funny because me speaking to this is making me smile, so I don't know necessarily why. It's kind of like a cheeky, like, yeah, I know that. Maybe I should actually ask that energy out. I should try that. Maybe some of you just tried doing that after, like, while the video was running, or you paused it and did it, and you're like, my God, this fucking works. What the fuck? So yeah, and it might not work right away because you have a attachment to those people, even if they're not good for you. You could have maybe something in your house that is tied to them, and it's not actually a good present to you or a gift, right? You don't even like it for some reason, or maybe it's just something that is collecting dust and literally keeping their presence in your life. So you're fine, you're good. It's literally the energy of other people, and the way to deal with it is basically asking out their energy from your energy, cleansing and clearing it with water or with smoke or with meditation and certain visualizations. You can do sound baths. Bells work really well. Yes, I know bells do work because they're a massive vibration break. They're like, I'm I was wondering whether like bells could work potentially even through phones. I would assume so, right? So if you don't have a bell, you can just grab a damn like phone and find a really good bell video and it'll work because just because it's digitized audio doesn't mean that like it carries through the frequency, right? So yeah, get rid of those items I would recommend as well. If there's some old pictures or some old other stuff that's maybe their clothes or something, like just get rid of it. You really don't need it around and you deserve better. And if you feel weird about it, it's just you being weird about it. It's just your mind being weird about it. Um, Nothing is supposed to stay around forever. Like everything is constantly changing. And if it's like an empty space that's being taken up, right? Like you literally have a weight somewhere in your energy that could be just free space where you can breathe instead of like feeling that weird fear and anxiety and then putting it on top of yourself thinking like, "Oh, is it, I'm not ready yet. I've not figured this out yet." Like, no, 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 it's like and it's not even you. It's not even you. Yeah, I thought we were gonna go with tarot, but I got guided to do Mystical Shaman's Oracle. Pride reversed. Yeah. So it's weird because I heard in my head reverse, but I felt in my heart it's upright. So, yeah, honestly, your heart is in the right place, but your head is going through some weird shit, and most of it is also like thoughts stuck from other people, things they've told you, memories that really stuck with you and have been ingrained into your mind like a program, right? It's like your heart knows the difference, but your mind is losing itself, and it's like you really need to comb it in. You really need to nurture and like train your mind because it is important to tell your mind how to do its job and how to serve you. It's kind of like you're either going to be a slave to your mind or your mind is going to be your servant. And not necessarily a slave servant, but actually just a servant, right? Um, Even the ego, it's our friend. You being egoistic and fucking toxic about it and in your wounded ego that's freaking out is not good. But all of us need an ego to even just be lucidly like here, otherwise it's kind of like people that have done too many drugs and they literally are like, I don't know, unyoked eggs that are half not even baked, like you wouldn't want to eat them because they might have some salmonella. That's basically how this is coming across. So it's kind of like you you do need those aspects that you are looking to kind of get through what you're getting through, but you can just kind of like let go of what isn't good for you, what isn't serving you. You don't need to be so protective about yourself. Just because you heard some wisdom doesn't mean it should define you, right? Interesting. Yeah, I feel like this pile had people really, I don't know, you feel like very smart and intellectual. You might have had like really good discussions and debates and points of view, and you've really triggered people with that as well because you're kind of like you are ahead in a lot of ways. You don't, fear ideas and thought forms and other things like you will weigh everything out, but then I think because you've had a certain amount of negative reactions from people you really tried helping and you've cared for, who you trusted to have like these odd conversations with, they've really made you feel like you were wrong or disrespected you about whatever it is, right? And I think because you do have a heart and you do care and you're not heartless, you've thought like maybe I am doing something wrong. Maybe this can be harmful to people. Maybe it's not good that I'm doing this, right? And that's just coming across as a past energy. I know that currently, right now, you're moving out of it. There's just like some weird vibes around you. You are fine. You can sort it out. You can burn a candle on that shit. Like that's one of the best intention ways to set a thing. If you don't want to do all of this woo-woo stuff I've been speaking about, like light a candle saying like may this candle burn away any unhealthy ties to these ideas, programs, and people that I'm leaving behind me, that aren't for my highest good or aren't serving me. Word it in the way that works for you, like you do your own mantra and prayer. But those like catchphrases, certain ways of how you can portray words are really like defined blocks when you say them or when you put them in an energy or make a ceremony or ritual around it. Just find your like this is the statement, like this is non-negotiable. This is the yes, this is the no, and that's it. There's no in between. So, yeah, you're doing really well going through the issues and the traumas that you've had about how people have like taken your childlike wonder and pizzazz away, because like you've had a certain different type of perspective, you've had a different type of way of looking at things, and you weren't afraid of looking at things that were scary to most, that were really really unnerving, and maybe some people would even say evil, right? And you're like, why can't we just fucking discuss it to see if it's good or bad, and then see why it's good and bad, and how people use it, right? Like, because a lot of it comes from intention from people. I feel like one of you just screamed yes at your monitor. Yeah, I feel you on that too. I get upset when you're trying to just have a good conversation with a person about something deep intellectual, just like picking brains in terms of like good and bad, and you want to drive the conversation a certain way, but as soon as you say the first part, that warrants a reaction that cuts the whole conversation off or down, or something of the like happens, and it's like, motherfucker, like I'm just gonna, leave this here and act like, yeah, sure, sure. Like I could try and explain myself or be like, no, that's not what I meant, but honestly, I can already see, where your mind's going, where this is coming from. So, but yeah, you're actually very aware of how you can actually be mean or harmful or oppressive. Like you've seen your dark side, but you've also seen the purpose behind your attitude, if that makes sense, or the purpose behind your blunt words or the way you speak to things, or even you when you are consciously being like, the person's gonna see you as being like mean or something, but you're actually being very loving, very conscious, and you're just saying something they don't like, right? Um, and maybe you need to do that. Maybe it's kind of like I can't keep this in or something else. Like you are very conscious and aware of your dark side and how that comes up in healthy or unhealthy ways, and you need to start trusting that and accepting also the point that like your shadow is good, your darkness is all right. Like you are okay to accept yourself as whole, not just as one or the other thing to fit in other people's perspectives. And it is you're right to, express yourself when you're upset or when you believe something or don't believe something, and you don't gotta be an asshole about it. Just because you are who you are, right, and you exercise your strength or your darkness or whatever, your talents, doesn't mean you're bad. It just means you are who you are, and other people have problems with that because they have their own problems. Yeah, so I think there's also a thing of you think like you don't have many options, which you do. I'm hearing like you do. You have a lot of options. But the thing is like you're focused on one thing and you think it has to happen just one way. And it's really funny because it's like 7, 28, 27, and then 34 reverse, which is a 7. It's a 7. So this is super synchronistic, man. Like, whew, I love this. But it is speaking to the point of kind of like this is defined strength and progression, and this is you limiting yourself is how it's coming across basically. Because you do have a lot of options. It's just that you want a specific result and you think there's only one way to get there, but there's many ways to get there. And you should let yourself keep that focus, but don't restrict yourself with it. Don't keep yourself away from variety and shifts and changes and, letting life happen in many different ways because e even if, let's say, metaphysically, energetically, one thing is set, right? Maybe it's fate, maybe it's destiny, maybe it's just timeline, quantum, whatever stuff and manifestation. Um, you can come close to that thing as much as you want and it'll be the same, right? Maybe. But then by the last minute, it can change and it can shift, and you'll have to go around or in a different direction and way, or it moves or something, right? And like the script changes, and it's not what you expected or were self-prepared and primed to feel like, right? It's gonna be completely different. That's because energy always shifts to your benefit as you're going towards what you really love and like and desire and what makes you happy and passionate, right? And other things are happening while you're doing that. And it's kind of like because of the quantum field and shift and change, and because there's like 8 billion of us here, and then there's even more fucking souls and spirits on the other side, helping us with this. Like, things are always going to change. Just because you think it's a direct destination, it's always going to be like that, doesn't mean it is. And it's better to accept life as it's changing, even if it's uncomfortable or feels like a, I don't know, an obstacle, a challenge, or just something weird and unfair and shitty that happens, right? Like, take it as a sign for you to be like, okay, I'm on the right track, but I'm being taken this way, right? Or I feel like the best course of action now is like, I'm so close, but I need to rest. I need to stop, or I need to look around, right? Maybe I need to learn a bit. But like, trust the nigglings that might feel too comfortable. I'm feeling for you. Like, stuff that feels too good and too comfortable is actually there. It's actually real, and your guides are like trying to pull you into that chair to sit down and relax and just fucking accept life to be what it is and just live your own experience through that, because you are safe to do that. That's why that feeling is there and that seat is there, and it's so tempting to sit down and just relax and breathe, because it is literally other people's shit is making you worried, anxious, and need to work way more and focus on these things and prepare and over prepare and criticize yourself and say, oh, I need this and that and whatever. Then the other side is spirit being like, you don't need to do anything. You're fine. Relax. Relax. Forget about this external nonsense. Like, you are, this full circle energy is where you gotta be. This leaf, like, breathing easy, everything making sense. It's all connecting. I have my power. I'm in tune. Like, I can do whatever I need to or want to. That is where you're supposed to be. And that's the energy that's coming and trying to like suck you in basically and just have you there so you don't leave. But there's going to be people that are going to definitely try and make you feel otherwise and prove like, oh no, you're stupid for like thinking this. Where are you going? What's wrong? Right? And it's like, shoot, just don't keep them away. I literally would recommend like cutting ties with those people, because it doesn't matter if it's your best friend for 20 years, your family member, or your partner. If it's going that way, don't fight it. Just let it be, because it's happening for a reason. You wouldn't like becoming the new person that's going to be happier as you will, right? Having them around. You will not like it. They're not changing. They're already showing their colors of not vibing with where you're going, and you will not be happy trying to drag them across or having them around and them dragging you down or being like this one thing that's out of sort and alignment and making you miserable in your life. Like, it's just not worth it. I feel like that's really important to someone, and I'm sorry for that feeling. I really am. But take your time and realizing and doing this for yourself if it's like a big important person or relationship or someone that you deeply love, right? But you just know it's not good for you and it's not changed. You've tried. It didn't happen. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so definitely go and do your thing. I think these cards are just gonna clarify everything. Yeah, you're nurture yourself more. Be the one that calls the shots in your reality. Be the one in your comfort. Um, if you're a super giver, you're like the one that gifts everyone everything. Like, even just this Christmas, right, and New Year's. If you're the one that's been gifting other people stuff and you haven't gotten anything, or you haven't bought yourself stuff, go ahead and fix that. I mean, you can't demand gifts from other people, obviously. I mean, you can, but might be a real weird conversation. I mean, if it's someone like your partner, I think you could talk to them about it, right? Or certain other people, but um yeah, this is more speaking to the point of like, buy yourself presents, do your thing, like stop making excuses about it, or doing this for other people, but not doing this for yourself. Because I feel like you are the Empress. You're not focusing on yourself and what you like and the things that really make you happy, because it's like you feel guilty that you'd be so happy that other people would start getting upset about it and blaming you about stuff and saying this other stuff. Like, you deserve whatever you want and need, right? They'll have to figure out their own shit. Like, it's just life, you know? You've done your stuff. You've went through a lot in life to just even recognize, like, oh damn, like, I have real talent and abilities. I manage my health and my mental health and my life so well, compared to other people. Or I've really made the best out of every situation. Or I have a straight up chance to making this dream real, this project real. I have a straight chance to getting this damn job, and I've really dreamed about it. But, I'm gonna need to leave everyone behind. I'm gonna need to, like, maybe even freaking break up with my partner or something. But, like, in comparison with what sucks and what doesn't, and where long term it's going to go for you, like, what will ultimately make you happy, it's better to take the current, like, L's that you need to be long term happy. It really is. If you are still doubting that, this is your message for that. And if there's still something that you need to, like, pass along in your emotions and heart through it, you'll do it. This is a promise that you will do it, regardless of how long it takes. You will start that new endeavor that actually is going to lead you towards your happiness and solid foundation, not other people's. Because I feel like you really held some stuff up. Yeah, it's ending. Damn, man. Wow. Talk about interesting layout of the major arcanas, huh? Yeah, so this is ending. You're on the good path. Everything's all right. Good job. Keep your focus on, and trust and believe that you will be able to let go of these pains and hardships. It's just gonna take some time, and be prepared to shift over and change to where you want to, and believe you have many more options than you think you do. It's just a weird part in the process where it's kind of like cycling stuff out, leaving some stuff out, making those decisions, right? And just letting it be what it is and not getting sucked into the tornado around you or the currents around you of other people. I hope this has helped. I hope you've enjoyed this. This was definitely nice and interesting. And yeah, I wish you the very best in wherever you are, whatever you're going through. Thank you for getting this reading and watching and your support. And if you want to see more of me, there's a link tree. Yes, I'm a little bit still MIA, but that doesn't hurt, to check out the other things that I have on social media, because, yeah, why not? Peace. Hello, everyone who chose pile number 3. Your card. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. Is kind of giving me some interesting vibes. So this is a card speaking to, or a pile speaking to something to do with family energy. One thing I heard was like you are getting your family, but for some others of you, it's like you are letting go of your family. Because you were growing deeper roots within your own self, within your own life, within your own, whatever's, and you're just letting things cycle out and happen as they need to or have to, because like you've really seen you've really seen the truth behind you giving so much effort into things. You understand that if you kind of took this power inside of yourself instead of trying to prove it outwards to the world, you would have had bigger, better, different results all along already. I don't think you're taking it as hard as like actually judging and guilting and shaming yourself over it. To some, maybe you have some feelings about that. Let it go, release it. You don't deserve that, you know? It's literally a case of like life sometimes is a process about doing the stuff that is the definition of insanity. Until you realize it's fucking insanity and you let it go and you're like, why the fuck did I do that? Like, the saying that's coming to mind is like, you're not done until you're done, which really kind of sucks sometimes because you can see yourself maybe in that experience or understand it or don't like it or whatever, right? But you still try and you still go for it, and that's because like we do have, you know, certain things that are playing into that and helping us kind of choose these things until we have a breaking point that changes us and transforms us and makes us, you know, do our own decisions. And with family or people that you consider like really close as family or best friends or stuff like that here is also coming across is like you really love them. And you, when you love a person, you love them regardless of their problems and bullshit and however they might be negatively affecting you until you've, you know, grown into this position of being like, I'm more important than trying to help people you know, I love. Like, love isn't enough. Um, there needs to be accountability, uh, also a compatibility. That was the first thing I wanted to say, but accountability is actually definitely way more important than compatibility. You can be a bit of a mixed match, but if you're accountable, honest, real loving, right? It doesn't matter. You're gonna be fine. Like opposites complement and can attract each other as well, right? That's kind of the whole point of it. But if you don't have accountability, and if you don't actually like do what you need to support the relationship, to help each other, to, you know, show up in that way, then it doesn't have a future, it doesn't maintain, it's not sustainable, it's one-sided, it usually is harmful to everyone involved, not just the person that's sustaining it, and usually it's one or two people. And a really great example I saw today on YouTube, and when I heard it, I'm like, this is actually a really good video explaining how our brains work in such stupid ways, and that's why we're working through all of this and figuring it out, you know, and trying to open up to vulnerability about talking about it. But it was like, if you didn't show up to the job, that whatever, you'd get fired, right? What if you loved that job? Well, you still didn't show up, so you'd still get fucking fired, right? Same as with relationships, but for some reason our brains don't work the same fucking way, and it's really goddamn stupid and weird, right? Um, there's more detail in it, or there's more to it, but the principle, dumbed down, long story short, is that was just a YouTube short. But I think we all got the point here. Is literally like for some reason there is a human tendency to being like, oh, if things, you know, are one-sided and there's like this love towards this person, but they're not investing, they're not showing up, they're not giving back to the other person or to the damn relationship, right? And the purpose of that relationship, then like why is it that a lot of the times we find one person, or you know the minority or the whatever side of it is literally holding up the whole freaking thing. And usually it's because of like personal desire and ambition and hope. Really, it's hope for the love to grow and transform and become something that they can really like, you know, dig into or set a foundation upon or trust and look forward to, you know, like, or keep enjoying, right? But like if there's something unhealthy or wrong about it and you've tried speaking to it or showing up for it and it didn't work out, that is the sign that you can just go away and do your own thing. If you did it multiple times and it keeps getting worse, then it's, you know, even more of a sign. Um, Yeah, it's not you, it's them is how it's coming across. Like you've tried your thing, you did it, and yeah, they kind of never. It feels like they never really responded the right way. They never cared to you. Every single time you tried opening up, there would be an argument or they'd start blaming you and calling you out and shit. That was actually just them projecting their fears and other problems. If you tried connecting on your own like passions and interests and whatever, they'd instantly react in a, confusing manner in a way that would be kind of putting you yet again in a weird position or corner or something. All right, let's read some more cards. So yeah, you guys are moving away. You're finding your own desires and family. You're finding your own home. You're looking over like where you want to leave. And some of you are doing this like in the dead of night or something. Others of you are looking in the process of like how to talk to it because you feel like you do want to and can talk to it. So you discern your own situation, whether it's like I can't talk about it or whether you are a person that's like the way that would be healthiest for me personally, also with how everything is in my family or the energy. Like, I know it's important to have this aired out, even if it's going to be a horrible argument. I'd rather talk about it than to just leave it. And for others of you, is like, what the fuck would be a point to that? Yeah, you guys are having a lot of wisdom in this situation. It is uncomfortable and painful though. It is uncomfortable and painful though, because you have like my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe, and that is reversed, and it's like a heart with, a full circle on top of it, which literally kind of reverse speaks to the heart being separated, there not being conclusion, or there not being like basically honesty. There, it's just like you can't confront the situation. There's separation and anger and lack of love. Like things are coming out of angst and anger instead of actual love. It's like out of loss. Oneness is my true nature. That's also reversed. So not acting as a group, not being a family unit is coming across, not being a healthy work environment, being one-sided as well within certain dynamics and relationships. And I'm having a human experience. I'm a spirit of, I don't know why I fucking read it that way, but I am a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. So reverse this does speak to the point of like being so stuck in the human condition of being separated and this whole existence being pointless to the point of like it's now overridden their understanding that like maybe there is a soul thing, maybe there's a deeper meaning to things, maybe being human does have heart in it. It's not just you know the survival bit of it, because this is literally like the polarity of being down here and thinking there's nothing, there's no meaning, there's no God, there's nothing. It's just like a empty fucking free for all, and everyone's just going at it. And this feels like it's really harmed you as a perspective because you are a person that looks forward to things on a higher light and a deeper meaning. And this was unwarranted for because this came out of left view. It's kind of like, oh, you're too free-spirited, loving, and caring. Let's chisel you into a fucking block, right? So, um, it kind of seems like there's a lot that has been also attempted to be conveyed here, but it just didn't work out. And you've had to go on your own journey of self-actualization and ascending to your own potential and heights, basically. Like, maybe you did do the thing of like, oh, like I'll ask you for resources, I'll do this, I'll do that, and maybe some of the stuff you did get, but in terms of like free warranted help or someone approaching you or that being widely available to you, like it wasn't really happening. Like you could take what you absolutely fucking needed, but even then it was you really needed to be forward about it, or you were in a point of desperation, you needed to make some moves, or um, it didn't come about in the same way that you would see other people would have it just because they have support or something, right? It's like it feels like your road was longer. There was more tribulation in it, uh, different detours and other issues. But you've gained the wisdom within it, and you also didn't let the hardships and the darkness and the negativity of everything around you pull you down or put you down or box you in. Like you said like no, I see it for what it is. Yeah, it sucks and hurts, but I've decided to step into like the thing that I believe and I actually think is cool and is meaningful to me and is like actually loving or light and not just like dark and dense and toxic, like something that is actually aligned and healthy. So kudos to you for holding your ground and staying in your wisdom because I can see that that was really freaking hard when you have so much going against you. When I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. So this is talking to the point of realizing that there's an unseen world or things are connected, or maybe manifestation, maybe seeing the power behind prayer, or maybe even God or some other things, right? And you're not even like religious. You don't even go to church maybe. Maybe you do, but you had a different experience and connection that other people wouldn't in the spaces that you were. Like you saw the toxicity going rampant, whereas you also for yourself saw that you had a different view, perspective, and maybe connection to the world around you and the things that were happening, right? And it's really brought you forward. It really gave you some gifts and abilities, and it also is like a secret to why you are so special as you are. Because I feel like other people see you and they're like, "How the fuck do you do this?" Or "Why are you so smart?" Or "Why are you like so quick on your feet?" Or like, "You have really good eyesight, like foresight, eyesight, hindsight, all the sight." Like you read people well, like there's something about you. Maybe, this is also speaking of mystical abilities as well for the mystics watching this pile. So even if you were asleep, like people still saw you in this light and saw the point that you had these abilities and there was something magical about you. There was something like fortunate or something blessed is how it's coming across, which really irked other people and triggered the fuck out of them. Which might have, been a bit of a part of that, but true healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. Yeah, you guys are the curse breakers, shadow workers, the healers of the family, of the black sheep and the light workers and the rest. You're the little interesting group of like people that have never been really want to fit in anywhere, but you knew that you had your own place in life and that there's somewhere to dig your deep roots in when there will be the time for it. But other than that, you might as well then strengthen yourself up as the tree that you are. Something along those lines. Like I'm using this card for the analogy, but it literally kind of feels that way of like, I'm gonna nurture myself so much and go forward with this and build myself up so I can, when I find that place, like I'll make the most out of it and maybe I will settle there. But until then, like you still have home, you still have places to go, you still have stuff to do, you still have desires, and this isn't supposed to be like a isolated experience where you're not happy. Like maybe some relationships will be temporary, but ultimately you are a person that is going to enjoy their own life and beauty in whatever way and shape that matters. And you will find your company with it. Okay, so I heard that that's it for this pile. Yeah, I hope this has helped. Wish you the very best on your journey, wherever you are, whatever you're going through. And it's okay to be where you're at. I kind of feel like saying as well, like let yourself process the feelings and know that you will be this owl in the light, even if, you're gonna go through some turbulent memories, or even if you're sad right now, like because you could be going through a lot of either purging or sadness or other things or confusion, or out of nowhere you have like weird emotional fluctuations. It's literally because like this is being let go, or you are letting this go, and you're facing it to like realize it, and that's all you really need to do to let something go, is like just sit in it, look at it, let it speak or say whatever it is without you doing anything. Like you don't need to be nice about it or do it in a particular way or whatever, right? It's a case of like what is the raw thought and emotion that has been building up or stuffed down or whatever, like maybe throughout this transformation, like what is coming out about the truth of who you are and what you've been through. And yeah, just let it happen. Whatever comes through, you're not a bad person. It's not going to do anything. You're just processing what you've been through, and you're coming out the other end to be in your full power and potential, which is just going to make you feel really good to do the things you like and feel like you're capable of doing that regardless of how many steps it's going to take or how long the journey is going to be or how, difficult or whatever it is, or that you don't have money or other things. Like you'll be like, it's fine. That's life. I can do this. This is going to be fun. Like I feel it. If you want to like see more of me, feel free to go to the link tree. I appreciate all of your guys' support. Yeah, leaving you off here, and yeah, have a good time going through whatever you're going through, and if not, I wish for you to just have it, done whenever, like as quick as possible, or an easy time coping through it is also a nice wish, right? So, and if not, just have a good time, I guess. Yeah. Hello, pile number 4. I hope you doing all right, and let's get into it. So, yeah, I'm unapologetic about what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow. So you got some guilt and shame, and I'm just saying that because of like the unapologetic kind of coming out as apologetic over the things you want and like, right? So that indicates possibly shame, guilt, or oppression about the things you actually want and like and whatever. And that can be because people didn't show interest into your things, mocked them, or said they were useless, and how dare you think this was a good idea or some other shit. Like gaming is a really big one of those, which is really freaking weird. Everyone's a gamer now most of the time, or most of the population has at least gamed something at some point, or throughout the last few years that we've had, people were just pushed to try out new hobbies, and gaming was on the rise because of it, is an example, right? But it's not just gaming, it could be freaking anything. Art, um, certain type of freaking cooking, I don't know, animals, like whatever it was that was discriminated around you, because like that this is kind of personal, and it can be specified to anything. Like an example would be like you were into tennis, and people were disrespecting that because you weren't playing the popular sport that was maybe like football or basketball, right? It's like you aren't going to get um sponsored or supported, or you can't go into this college because you're playing that game instead of playing this game, and it's like it's wrong, you're bad for it. Something along those lines, right? Socializing over the internet, like criticize people criticizing you over socializing in the internet instead of socializing in real life, and it's like if someone was in your shoes, they'd do the exact same thing. And because they're so inconsiderate and in their own ego and being so ruthless about whatever societal programming is deemed to be like, oh, this is good stuff, this is bad stuff. You're like cool here and you're not cool here. It's like, that really trickled out to putting shame and guilt upon you in terms of what it really interests you and what brings you joy. And that wasn't fair because your hobbies were completely fine. Everything you wanted to do was completely right. And really, people didn't have a right to discriminate that because they really like if they were at all like who and how you were and lived through what you did, they would be doing the same thing. But because they bended down to trying to fit in, to being a part of the freaking mob, and just in general, like, oh, take in what you need and what you can from society to know how to treat other people and what is right and wrong, and like, they've become more accepted socially, but also they were a lot more toxic and unhealthy in how they spoke and acted and the behaviors they've had. And you've realized that and you've known that and you've well-roundedly maintained yourself to be a really nice, caring, cool person that's open-minded and doesn't do the same thing to others. Maybe you've done it in the past accidentally and you learn instantly, like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to be that person. Um, or maybe right now you're learning, like, oh, okay, I can probably accidentally like snip and snap here, so I need to learn how to use my voice or my opinion more consciously because when I'm just doing it, like those unconscious wounds come through and like it's just something to keep a track of every now and again, or maybe when I'm drinking only, like whatever's coming through with that. But if you don't have any of that, which you might not, don't worry, you don't have to have any of that. That's only for who it resonates for. You might just be the person that has always put their dreams and ambitions and desires and just fandoms on the back burner or hid it, or eventually when you started getting into your adolescence and even adult life, you started losing passion and pizzazz or even interest and hype and happiness for the things that you've done. Like they didn't give you as much of a kick or didn't fulfill you as much or didn't just, they weren't as fun. They didn't like seem like that anymore. And you're like, oh, I just grew up maybe or some other stuff. And it's like, no, you didn't. Well, you did, but at the same time, like this literally has edged itself into you where it's now such a forgotten subconscious thing that you got over and just kept living through and then just made your own way forward that it's stuck in you basically. Like you need to let it go and realize that all of those things were bullshit and it might take some time. I'm not going to say it's going to be quick and easy just because you're older and you have a good head on your shoulders because the heart is the heart, and we still have that inner kid inside of us and they will need the time that they need for us to move through the difficulties that we have. We can't shortcut or rush anything. But yeah, you would be enjoying these things a lot more if you looked at that oppression, or you would be really capitalizing and delving into the amazing ideas and projects that you have. Some of you have great, amazing business models and business ideas. You can capitalize on creating your own little business, or maybe even having something grow out, right, into something really quite decent. But that's also only going to be possible once you really give into the joy and the hype and the happiness and the unrestricted like living of these desires and this passion and this creativity or whatever it is, even if it seemed childish to someone you were growing up or when you were younger or you yourself were in such a competitive environment that maybe it made you somehow start taking on that vibe of like criticizing your own interests, right? Because other people were doing that for others or doing that for their own hobbies, or and it's like, huh, maybe that's just the way it is, like maybe you had a parent that was constantly hard on themselves, being like, I will never achieve this, I will never do this, this never works out for me, or like, hey, why you don't try this out? It might be fun. You have some talent there. It's like, ah, no, I suck. I'm not gonna do anything about it. It's like, why? Like you are great. Why do you say I just suck, I'm not gonna do anything about it? It's just that can really transfer to you too because you love that person, you respect them, and if they have a great ass talent that they are putting down like that, like Why is your little pipe dream type of plaything important at all then, right? Why, what purpose or reason does it have? So yeah, you can get the harvest of the stuff that you really want, but it is going to be an experience of where you can only really reap the rewards of this and enjoy the fantasy and step into it and even have just a opportunity to taste the dream if you completely let yourself go to the pleasure and the joy and the whatever of it. And maybe you might go a little bit crazy about it, right? Maybe you might just go into the good and then start noticing the other sides to it, which is whatever it is, right? Let's say gaming is for some reason a really easy example here, but it doesn't have to be just gaming because I think it's an easy example, but if you change it out with anything, it's the same lessons. So let's say you want to be a esports major in somewhere, right? But you then overcapitalize on all of the training and all of the, I don't know, people stuff you got to do with it, and yeah, I don't know, you have a lot of hearings and contracts, like you make it to that point eventually, right? But you're not looking after yourself in terms of eating and sleeping enough and having walks and maybe exercising, right? So that takes away from your performance as a gamer. And it is a whole circle type of thing. And you realize like, oh, okay, I can have this joy of like this game or play or like passion or desire that I had when I was youthful, right? I can take it up again, or I can uh, reframe the way I feel about it and the perspective I have, like go back to that moment that someone shocked me about it and still fear something negative and reframe it to something healthy. But then once I start doing this and moving towards this, like I need to take up the other side of like I'm not a kid anymore, right? This has another side to it. This is more significant and serious, or like I need to really look after my mental health, or I really need to be strict and serious about like what sponsorships I take on because I my values don't let me have every sponsor ever when I'm going to this tournament, or I need to balance out some of my social life stuff instead of capitalizing on this because I can see I could lose myself and in 5 years have no one around or nothing, right? There's some stories of some streamers you hear of that, of where they were like, I wanted this that bad and I went for it and whatever, and then they realized like that was a mistake. They could have handled it better because now they don't have friends, they don't have a social life, they don't have anything else that makes it like a worthwhile lifestyle, right? It's not about that one thing, it's about your whole entire being, which is everything. That's her health, that's her partnerships, that's her home, that's her hobbies, that's her job. Like it has to all like even out so it can be a smooth foundation we create on top of and have real things come from. Doesn't matter if it's like, something you dreamed about when you were a kid or something that's like youthful or I don't know. It doesn't matter what it is. Just, go on and do it. Doesn't matter if you left it on the back burner for years and years and this is gonna be like a really rough drafts that you come back to, right? But it's like it's gonna make you happy. Why not? It's more important that you're gonna be happy than not doing this at all. All right. Yeah, we are using this deck. Okie dokie. Artichoke. My lordy lord. Yeah, there's a lot of things you need to look at in terms of like, and you do what you want. Like when I say that, that's just for the point of like the video talking about how to face your fears and what your fears are and other things, right? But this is still speaking to the point of looking at how I'm gonna keep talking to like what I'm gonna keep talking to, but my TV just turned off and I need it on so I can see if you guys can see the cards or not. So excuse me, but I think there's a point of when, you were really speaking to your ambitions and good vibes and other things that people, said it's impossible or it doesn't happen this way or life's like not like that, da da da. Like you had a really impressive either like parent or maybe even teachers, but it feels like a parent. I'm seeing like a dad on the frickin' recliner sofa surrounded by beers and smoke and just shitty vibes looking at their, I don't know, whatever toxic TV show that they're watching, yelling at you for, I don't know, reading comics and wanting to be an artist type of vibe. And it's like, you're saying your answers are the actual ways of being happy in life? I don't think so. Like, it's maybe making it through and surviving on some fucking, I don't know, bare minimum shit, but it's not really a life. Like, you're where you are. I don't want that. Like maybe it's good for you, but it's not good for me. My road is not impossible. It's not worthless. There's an answer there for you. I don't know what that is. I guess like the easiest way I'd put it is like it tells you more about them than it does about you. They didn't go for their dreams, or they were so oppressed that that's like where they were at, and so parents can't help when they're in those positions and just like have you experience the same thing, right? Because it does take a lot to face that within themselves and then choose to be different, and be conscious about it instead of like just going with what life is one after the other and like going, 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 going. Because a lot of people are like that. Um, but you aren't. Is what I'm getting. And don't get like pulled down by that. Don't get broken apart. Don't get dragged down by the prospects of other people not seeing what you saw as a possibility or option. I think like you can compare and see also from when you were younger and when you are now watching. Life is not just different, but there's so many options and possibilities and new things opening up, right? If you can believe it and have it in your mind, that means it can become a real tangible thing as well. Nothing's too crazy or out of this world. Anything can make money, is how is it coming across as well. Like anything can make money. Literally, there's one amazing woman that I've found on YouTube. I don't watch her a lot, but I like just seeing her shorts pop up on YouTube where she builds intricate sand castles, and she gets paid for it. And there's people that get really upset about it on YouTube, and I'm like, why do you care? If you're upset about your 9 to 5, then you should be working on that instead of yelling at a person that's living their dream online, being a really sought after, expensive sandcastle builder. Because she makes art. Oh my God, like it's impossible what she does and how many hours it takes. And the point that it's temporary, right? It's not like an actual art piece that's going to stay there forever. Like no, it's not. Um and yeah, I mean, like it's still surprising to me that stuff like that exists, and I keep finding weird things like that, but every time I find them, I'm so in love. I'm so grateful that it's in the world. Like I'm not crazy about sandcastles, but the point that there's someone that was so crazy about them since they were young that they now have become an actual professional sandcastle builder and is living their life off it, like that's their job, and it's hard to believe even, right? But it's so cool. Like, and it's not just YouTube. Like, from what I understand, they share it off YouTube, but it's not the YouTube channel that actually makes a lot of money. I don't know how they've made it in the background or whatever, but there's like a whole proper thing with it. So, and it's not just that. There's so many weird, interesting artists that live good enough lives. They don't maybe earn millions, but fuck if they're not happy. They are. They're happier than most people. They have everything they need. They have a great home. They have everything they need for their pets. They have a damn pet. And it doesn't matter. Like, Just because someone says that it doesn't earn enough money or it's not a valuable enough asset in society doesn't mean it's true. It just means that they are regurgitating the same traumatizing imprint that was put upon them, and they're so wounded by it that they can't help but react to you doing this for yourself, right? Because that's where they were when they were trying to do that for themselves. Um, and it just is what it is. It doesn't need to be any more than that. The moment I embrace the peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. So it's really kind of just coming to terms and accepting that you're right and they might be wrong because of issues that they have, which isn't judgment. You don't ever, my perspective is like, let's not judge people when they're in hard positions and places. If you don't see eye to eye, if it's like already like a coming apart or breaking up or something else, it's already hard for everyone. Like, whether someone's wrong or right, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter anyway, because things are going to happen as they're going to happen. Having that dichotomy is just going to create more friction and argument, and then really, if you're digging into it, then you're digging into an unhealthy spiral instead of moving on, right, and leaving it to be what it is. When I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. Yeah, I think you're scared of doing that, but this reading is now real, like making or helping you realize that that feeling of peace and love and good things can happen for me is not bad, but you need to cultivate it within yourself and not let other people take it away from you. Maybe, maybe this is a sign you should keep your ideas to yourself for now or from now, right? Maybe it's about not seeking help from people that you know aren't going to be able to help you, or when they do, they actually make things worse and harder for you, and they think they're actually helping you, and it's like, no, you doing this actually made my day worse. I am not happy. I would much rather have the more strenuous time of me doing this myself than you doing it for me or you helping me with it. But yeah, there's something that, you might want to let go of and disconnect and cut off from, and refocus towards your own ambitions and desires and goals and know that that's fine and important and it's really healthy for you. So I think that's everything that's coming through. Yeah, that's everything. So thank you so much for watching and being here and sharing your energy. I will be, I guess, popping up somewhere on YouTube or on Linktree or whatever. Check out my channel if you like the reading. Thank you for your support. And yeah, wishing you the very best in wherever you are, whatever you're going through. And I'll see you next time.